Why does it have to be no?
It has been such a revelation of how broken the system is. Like Teli Kuswala.
Imagine someone winning with more than maybe 30,000 votes and then they are not declared.
Yeah.
And then we do nothing about it.
I don't know how people appreciate Bobby Wine, but I appreciate Bobby Wine from this thing of this guy who is doing what he can within his means to create change.
Whatever we're fighting for can still be achieved. We don't know when, but I am very hopeful.
We are now driving to a point of lack of shame as a country. Like injustices that people try to hide and do closed door, they now do publicly. And for me, that's so scary.
The way Noop has pushed them to see them for who they are. So that's, I actually think that this was a stage we had to reach. So either we have reached it at the time we were supposed to reach it, or NUP has accelerated the time we had to get to that level where we had to see the devil for what it is. Welcome to the first episode this year of What Ought. Today I return with the one and only Praise Aloikin, our mainstay here, and a special guest from the National Unity Platform, an activist. Today I discovered that she's a woman of great religious faith. The first to be here with us this year. I'd like to welcome each of you and request you to introduce yourselves.
Okay, so I'll go first so that we can leave the, the last for the best. Save the last for the best, if that's the English saying. Hi guys, my name is Praise. Once again, I'm so glad to be back with you this year, and we hope that we can continue the beautiful conversations that we've been having. Yeah, I think that's all from me for now.
Okay. Hi everyone, Margaret Natawi is my name. I am a young person, a young Ugandan, an activist. I am a youth leader, female youth councillor, Mkono Municipality. And inshallah, the next speaker, Mkono Municipal Council.
Second term.
Yeah, this is my second term as a youth councillor. Yes, by grace of God, I became a youth councillor when I was 18 before joining campus. Yeah, so I've just finished campus and I ran for the second term. And I managed to win an election. So I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Happy New Year to everyone.
These elections were for blood and bullets.
Nice t-shirt.
Thank you.
New Uganda.
New Uganda.
No. Anyway, guys, today we'll be talking about the post-election environment.
Yes.
Whereas the people here might appear young, but most of them really participated strongly, both in the build-up to the election and after the election. But me, I'm more interested in how they have been after the election. Praise, you could perhaps tell us what Uganda has been for you. What has been going on in your world?
Guys, I think for me, it has been, that point like when you're hitting acceptance. Like you guys, I think we have failed this time again, you get? Because for me, this was the first election I really participated in. Not in terms of voting, because I've always been a boycott the elections kind of person, but in the kind of following up human rights violations, speaking about the different injustices that were happening. And every day, the Electoral Commission would find something to give me to talk about. It was a banger after a banger, you get, but negative. So it has been such a revelation of how broken the system is, like Teli Kuswala. And if you see like the activities that were leading up to the election itself, the abductions of people, the disappearance of people, the torturing of people just because they belong to specific political party. Why am I saying specific? Because they belong to NUP, National Unity Party. Or platform. Yes. It's National Unity Platform Party?
National Unity Platform.
Okay. Well, then where does the word party go?
Party is a platform.
Okay. I didn't know. Thank you for educating me. So you see people being abducted, arrested arbitrarily. English. And then things like the habeas corpus where, police would deny, the army would deny. And then the next day...
Habeas corpus, what's that?
Yeah, guys. I'm graduating, by the way. I don't know when this thing will be out, but maybe I would have graduated by then. But yes. So habeas corpus in a layman's language is simply when you go and demand for someone to be brought before court, you get dead or alive, especially if you don't know their whereabouts, but you think they were picked up by the police or the army or a certain government agency. So you go to court and petition that this person is presented dead or alive. So we have now normalized, lying on oath. You get? We have normalized not holding people accountable. And for me, the thing that resounds in my head so strongly is the Ed Mutwe issue and the Mohozi tweets and everything. Because that's even something he has kept doing post the elections. Here are people that have actually died and he's coming up and saying, yeah, we have killed these people and we're about to add some more on it, and he's celebrating it. And as someone who has a court case, we're in court recently. When was that? On 17th? And we are being charged with a nuisance on the roads or something like that because we're protesting against the torture of Ed Mutwe and for Mohozi to be held accountable, you get? And you realize that it's now being normalized that people will do bad things and get away with it. You can't report them to police. You can't take them to court. Parliament is not functioning. The executive is not functioning. So for me, it is a point of acceptance. This is our Uganda. Now, what can we do? You get? But also, I'm hungry for something new. And I'm so glad to have this conversation now that we have Margaret here, because I would like to have the inside perspective, because NUP is like the biggest opposition.
Inside perspective of what?
Wait, I'm getting there. Let me first contextualize. Now that you're from within, you get the party. But I have this whole perspective of, is this going to be now, the next election, will NUP be as popular? Will it again convince people that they can get a new Uganda out this government? Or is it going to become like the Kizza Besigye scenario where, after some time you lose your salt and we are looking for the next figure to put our hope into? But maybe Lawel, you can also come up with some news or something. Get arrested, put yourself on fire.
But praise, and then she could feel free to interject at any point, but why does it have to be NUP?
I mean, that's where our hopes are.
But you have been doing work outside NUP, and so, for example, as Agora or has any groupings, what I'm a bit not for
is putting that burden
is
on
this
NUP?
thing of saying, because this robbery was not really against NUP per se. It was about, it included all those who wanted change or who wanted a semblance of democracy, right? The will of the people. And whatever happened was against every Ugandan. So whereas NUP as an institution must do something, I think that this thing of saying, hey, we are looking at you, NUP, now kapia chi. Are we going back in the election? Are we doing something like, okay, we all need these, must come up with these answers.
Okay, Maggie will come in. Just let me say something in 1 minute. I'm not putting that, personally, I'm not putting the burden on NUP. I don't expect all change to come from NUP, but I'm looking at it from the election kind of view. Like, people still believe in electing leaders into power in this country.
Why is that the most important question? Because what I feel, and this is why I'm interfering, is because before the election you said we need to boycott.
Yeah, because my say still stands.
But I think now you're using this opportunity to say, no, look, so now we told you refuse. Now are you going to go back? I feel like you want to fulfill.
Praise has been for
I want to get that aha moment. I told you.
I just saw her video. Yeah, and she's even telling us an unpopular opinion. Yeah. I also think any people should not swear in.
So you guys were supposed to. No, I feel like that could have been a good cover. Okay. But I don't blame it. Yeah, okay.
Before I even go from how I've been through this period. Praise, yes, you said we boycott. But then I keep telling you, even when NUP boycotted, other people would not boycott.
Yeah.
It would still not make a lot of sense. And even when we say maybe those that went through should not swear in, you're leaving a gap. I understand we might not change a lot for now as leaders, but if we do not have leaders in there, the eyes that can reach where we are not reaching as normal Ugandans, maybe we might not see certain things. I'll give you an example of the reports that the LOP has been unveiling on corruption. There are so many things we wouldn't know if we didn't have such a person like him in office.
Does similar work.
You get it?
Yeah,
I understand.
But they
wouldn't do it without someone somewhere giving it to them. So that's why we need someone in there at any point. Maybe there is something that would come from inside and spark, because we might think, we all thought maybe this election could be the spark, and trust me, it wasn't. And at least I would love to be like you, who has finally accepted. Now, as a person who was in the center, in the middle of the campaigns, teaching people protest, vote, you kabanje. And now,
okay, there's this funny joke. Sorry. What was that fourth K? That K they say was silent.
It's kanonye, kalonde, kakume, kabanje.
Yeah, but there is like that fifth one that they created after like Bobby Wine started hiding. I
didn't know about that. Anyways, so as a person who was in the middle of all this, remember you've been teaching people in case they try to tamper with it, please let's go. And now they have actually tampered with everything, and we've seen. What do you do next? Now, one, you a leader right now. Everyone is looking at you. What next? Councillor tuza kochi. President tuza kochi. Now, I also don't know where the president is, but for some reason people know. You have to know. You have to have an answer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm still in denial. Like I said, I've not yet accepted. I am... For some reason, I believed change was coming. Really, really, really. Yeah. I thought this time around, Ugandans had actually accepted. They had understood everything. And the moment this government would dare do anything, we would all rise up and do something. And I've not seen that happen. And up to today, people are still asking, what has Bobby Wine done? Why is he hiding? I mean, every day he has been telling you, everyone be the chagulan of your area. Yeah. And still, I think we didn't understand that. At this point, when he was in hiding, he has already written on his page, please go peacefully, protest, no one has done anything. I am still in denial. I don't want to accept what is happening, but I think I have to accept. I don't know, it's been hard.
There is something
hectic.
that I came across. We're sharing some room, we're trying to have conversations about this whole post-election saga. And the conversation was around the fact that Uganda is such a mobilized community, but it's not yet organized for like an uprising. So mobilized in the sense that people know what to do. Like you said, the whole campaign was full of teaching people. When this happened, do A, B, C, D. This is how to do it. These are your rights. This is what a violation looks like. That kind of stuff. So they are mobilized, you get? But they are not organized in that they are always looking. The organization that they have is dependent on, we could say they're organized, but not well organized. That for them to protest, for example, there must be a certain Bobby Wine on the street saying to Gende physically, you get? Not really.
And unfortunately, it's not even a certain Bobby Wine. They specifically want Bobby Wine, because praise, even if you went tomorrow, all that will, all me. No,
they wouldn't do that.
You.
Yeah, don't say if. So we have done that before. Exactly. So do you think, now this is also another very interesting question that I think happens quite a lot on the corridors of politics in this country, and when you're with like a border guy, do you think like Noop taking on the outfit of the platform or the party and not like the spontaneous activist, form that it had, has quite affected its organization and mobilization of young people? But like, give an honest opinion. President,
No. I was looking at. I
think one of the things that needs to be.
Guys, disclaimer. These are two Noop guys. Like, staunch Noop guys.
Yeah. But I think that I don't see in any way where I think NUP can, nothing changed really, except that you also had more of a formal structure, which was the legal registration, and it's a political party as recognized by the state. But I think in terms of how NUP operates, it still has that.
I can say that even in how it operates, it's too platformy party, because they build people up towards elections.
Praise, can you cite something that the people power was doing that NUP is not doing?
Because in my view, also people used to have those by-elections, and that's how it rises.
We are not doing.
Yeah, one, I like the spontaneity spontaneous nature.
How does a spontaneous nature manifest?
It had this nature of centered around issue. You get? For example, Bobby Wine has been picked up, that Tojikwatako kind of thing. You get that kind of thing. They actively participated in the everyday, day-to-day issues. But now more focus is put on building people up for the next election.
You see that...
For example, March to Parliament, Bobby Wine supported, but it was like from the sideline kind of thing. And in that moment, I sort of like understood, because I'm like, maybe he doesn't want people to say like, hey, come and hijack. But that's so silly. Because what matters, may I feel if I had the influence Bobby Wine had.
Sometimes I
feel that's why you're not Bobby Wine. You see,
that's a problem.
I feel bad for Bobby Wine, because there was this thing of everyone who was participating in March Parliament saying these are bipartisan thing, everyone should be able to participate. And at that point, there was also this leaderless thing, like
party-less, leaderless.
With hindsight, you would say, oh, you should have participated. But I remember the conversations then also were, it's not about him. And my own view is that if Bobby Wine had intervened, he would have ended up being the sort of the center of the conversation that overshadows the entire protest. I mean,
do you think there was no way
for the young people alone,
it directly,
even for the young people alone, you had some amongst themselves saying they have overshadowed us. This was our thing.
They used that to get money. Those things.
I understand.
Anyway, praise back to the formal question. I feel like it was proper and necessary for us to formalize the people power into a political party, because at that moment you could find someone saying, I am NRM people power, I am DP people power, I am... So it would bring confusion. Even someone who is oppressing you would be like, I'm NRM, but I'm people... Like, it was not making a lot of sense.
Don't you think that's where we need to go? Like, where we strip ourselves of the political party thing? It's not even something I subscribe to, but it's a thought that has just popped up in my head.
I do not believe in that thing of...
I don't subscribe to it, but like, do you think we should... try to mobilize people more around the collective issues that affect us? Like, we can always deal with the excesses. For example, if you're building a movement and like you're here claiming your people power, but you're the same person like being an apologist, like those two things can't align.
Exactly.
But you've welcomed them in, like they know there's a cause. And then like you can deal with them.
I don't know. What I'm still grappling with is Praise's approach. Because in terms of practice, Praise has been operating relatively like autonomously as her and the like-minded, they come together, they do something, right? What I don't understand is why, particularly in this discussion, a lot sort of hinges on NUP or political parties. Because I think that even if political parties are not the answering, they can exist, but that does not stop other people from organizing as movements, as themselves, even to the extent of overshadowing political parties. And so for me, I think we are safer to say political parties can do what they do, but the civic, the people should come together in ways that unite all of them, regardless of age, regardless of political parties, religion, and push against any policy or something that is affecting them in society.
I totally agree, by the way. And I'm not trying to push this burden to them. But we are having a conversation of what ought.
Personally, I wouldn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't feel comfortable being in an activity and I'm seeing NRM people joining us, that we're adding a voice with the NRM. When you go back to your ground, you're mobilizing from grassroots for the party that is killing my friends, that is imprisoning my friends. And then for some reason you feel like, oh, this brings us together. But when you come to the president, don't tell me anything. It is the president that's doing this. You get when Praise is calling off.
From them to go say these things to their president.
No, they won't. They're going to reach there and the president is going to talk to them. They take them to talk to the president talks to them, he gives them envelopes and then they go. Nothing. The best they can do for you in your space, they are going to take your secrets, your strategies and sell you. You're going to be arrested and they'll be outside.
And they're just going to sell you, they're going to exaggerate.
Okay, now that we're talking about post-election, what are some of the things we need to change in strategy? Because clearly our previous strategy is not working. And this is not just a noob question. This is a question of us as young people.
Are we strategizing for change of power or...
It could be change. Okay, it's a whole basket of things.
Praise, why do you say you're failing? Why do you say we are failing, for example?
I could use this. You see before. it's a conversation again. It sounds like a border conversation. But we are now driving to a point of lack of shame as a country. Like injustices that people try to hide and do closed door, they now do publicly. And for me, that's so scary.
Yeah, please.
Yeah? It's not like we have not been here before, but with the NRM government, we have not been here before.
I actually think this impunity is perhaps a sign of success on the side of the pushers. Just hear me out.
Okay.
My honest view is that NRM has always wanted to consolidate power at all. Like it would do anything to consolidate that power.
Yeah.
Now the issue is that before this election, or before maybe the 2021 election, it could afford to keep power through posturing as a democratic outfit.
Yes.
And so whereas it had tendencies of vote rigging, especially up country, where they arrest people, where Mama was in Tungamu's rallies hijacked, there was some level of brutality, but it was not much. So it somehow remained relatively democratic. So people would vote, would participate, the MPs would be announced and all that. Until I think where it has reached a level where that facade can't be maintained. And that's why I think at some level there are those who believed, some didn't, but there are those who believe that it's possible to overwhelm the state through voting.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't
you
do that.
Believe that?
First wait.
That was me.
You were there before.
And that if you overwhelmingly vote, it's going to be hard for them to rig. And indeed it would have been hard for them to rig. You get it? But because there's a lot of mobilization that stretches them, they can no longer posture to be democratic.
Yeah,
so you force them to bring out their real selves.
Their dark side.
This is who they are. And I think sometimes when you're unlocking, whether it's like games on your phone or your laptop, you move from one step to another. So I think the more that Noop has pushed them to see them for who they are. So I actually think that this was a stage we had to reach. So either we have reached it at the time we were supposed to reach it, or NUP has accelerated the time we had to get to that level where we had to see the devil for what it is, not the posturing of elections. You can give you MPs.
Exactly. So now we know that devil.
Yeah. So maybe just to conclude is to say that I don't think entirely that this is an issue of failing.
You think
I think it is a result of you have unlocked this stage.
So it's progress, not what we could have expected,
but then what can you do about it? You know what hurts most is that all these things are happening. Personally, I would never imagine someone winning with more than maybe 30,000 votes, and then they are not declared. Yeah. And then we do nothing about it. We move on like nothing has happened.
So Natavi, this is what I think. Sometimes what did we perceive the threat to be? Because it's possible for you to have been using the GI number be like second GI, thinking this is how the race is. Yet the race was much worse.
I get you.
Because I talk to people here in Kampala about this government and how they think about democracy. But my background coming from the West, and like the attitudes I see, like SFC, our guys who are in SFC talking, like they talk like they own this country, like it's theirs. And when you come to Kampala, people think it's just our army. But the truth is, maybe when we see this establishment for what it is, we then get to shift. Because there's also this, I don't know, but somehow there's always adaptability to hard situations. You get to find ways to cope with the new level of threat. Now, it could be possible that we and our means were sufficient for the level we're at. Now there is a higher level.
And you see, Lawel, you're going back to where I started. Like my question.
Yes.
Yeah? That's what I told you. Because we have been in this level, but we have just unlocked it at a higher level. Where were with Kiza, SJ, who is now still
No, that's not how we want.
Let me show you. Let me show you why it's the same thing but a different level. Mm-hmm. He comes up. Here the government is still in that hiding phase. You get? It can go about trying to pretend it's good. It can go about trying to justify some things it does. But now we go to our next level, right? That level reached a point where it served its maximum utility, and we needed something new. And somehow society evolves, and when the Tojikwatako thing happened, Bobby Wine comes onto the scene, people are like, yeah, now this is something new. Like, this is something we can rally behind. This kind of radicalness, this kind of, no, we are here to, and that is...
I think you're conflating two things.
No,
please. One,
let me get there.
Besigye's loss of popularity and the idea that that's where the level of the struggle was.
No, like, it was a level of a struggle. It was a level of our struggle in Uganda. If you mentioned Kizza Besigye's name at a certain point, he was the face of what change looked like in this country. Currently...
So what I can argue is this, that in terms of popularity, it's possible that there was a time where Besigye was as popular as Bobby Wine is today. But in terms of the struggle itself, the level of push against the state...
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know why you're not getting me. I'm saying, so that was a level of its own. And now we come to this new level where things are now, like you've been saying, we now know that these guys are evil. It's no longer debatable. They have tried to fight this guy through the means they were using with Kizza, but they can't hide it anymore because he has mobilized, he has gone down to the grassroots, people are informed. So now the strategy has changed. We are not going to try to be the good government. We are going to be the bad government and rule you anyway. You get? So I agree that we have unlocked a bigger, greater level, but also calls for, like, us to think, what can we now do to salvage the wins we have made at this level? Because it's not enough to say the win is the government has come out and it's now bad openly. We can be here for 60 years.
And no one said it was supposed to be 20. The point I'm making is this. I think in terms of progress is how many people are willing. Because, for example, if you set up any form of campaign, it could even be a branding campaign, it could be a marketing campaign. It's also about how many people are buying into it in terms of scale.
I don't disagree
you get progress. It. So I believe that. So now you have a lot of people who are interested in the politics.
I don't disagree that it's progress.
Who are pushing for change. You get. But in as far as has that because look at it this way.
Yeah.
What tools do we use? Yeah. Do we have? Most of us rely on human resource, human capital, like us, maybe
because that's all we have.
You get my point. Yeah. So it means it matters that we have scaled.
And we have done well.
Yes.
But it will be also a deception on our side to think, let's now end here because we have done well.
No, we cannot end here.
What I mean.
No, because my submission was so that we have not failed.
Are we again going to wait for the next 5 years? Teach people the same thing.
You see, the thing is, I don't know if the teachers are less than the students.
Yeah.
Because, again, when you say what are you going to do, the first mind is going to run, 1, to NUP, 2, to a few leaders who really care about change. I am seeing, I interact with leaders and they're saying, oh, if things go like this, if Bobby Wine comes out and says something, if maybe international bodies come on board, we might not swear in. Those are the leaders you voted for.
Yeah.
Which the MPs?
Let me leave at a level of leaders.
But not the party leaders, right?
No, not party leaders. These public leaders, you get it?
Yeah.
Political leaders.
So for us, we are thinking every leader should have that responsibility of how far are we going? Yeah. But most of them are like, I have my position and that's...
Oh yeah, there is that. They want to protect their gains.
Exactly.
To borrow the NRM slogan.
You see, for me, I don't know if I'm not going to be arrested after this, but I was part of the people that were mobilizing for people that are going to Kabanja after. Yeah. And I think Mukono is one of the districts where you saw young people putting action. Mukono and Kayunga.
Yeah.
And Buyukwe. Because at least that is my area. And at least you see most of our leaders have been declared. We put some force. But even when we wanted to push further, the same leaders were stopping us. Leaders were stopping you because if you start and then people join you, then we might not swear in, then... But these are the people we expect to be pushing us to see that maybe our victory is... Now, this is from Mukono. I don't know what is happening in other districts.
So do you think
when
the political position sort of cause a man to tame their response to injustices?
Much.
Like
very much.
They have something to protect you.
Very much.
See,
very much.
Back to, why are we even using the system?
Because you're looking at leaders and they're like,
you guys,
you first leave those things.
Please, I don't know why you have.
So when you say what do we, you see this?
No, I don't. But my whole point is, because I was part of the people who were saying, I'm so happy that certain people have lost, because now that they have lost,
now they see the
going to see the actual thing, and they're going to invest energy in actually fighting these things.
If they actually ever cared, if they ever cared.
If they ever cared.
You see
if you really wanted change and it was not about the political position, well, now that you've not got in a political position, use your energy to now join us whenever we are doing these things like the judiciary exhibition that we are talking about.
If we are still counting on Ugandans for any kind of change, because I'm one person that believes leaders might not lead us into where we want, but we the people. The previous week, Lowell has been here laughing at me because I missed Valentine. Valentine passed without me noticing. I was in the village in some district in Uganda, a district that voted for Museveni, apparently 99%.
Yeah, wow.
The entire time I've been there, I had gone to work, my agriculture stuff. But all the people I worked with, young people below the age of 30, they could barely speak English. The bare minimum, they couldn't. There is one taxi in that district that comes to Kampala and goes back there. When taxi. It leaves, you have to wait the next day.
District.
I'm coming there. Yeah. The roads, very sorry state. I am in the West, where the president, who has been 40 years in power, is. There is no electricity. These people don't watch news. They don't know anything. Now, I wanted to get into their political side without them noticing I am actually NUP. Yes. Because I was told here, if they dare know you're NUP, you can even people can kill you themselves.
Yes, I mean, you were terrorist. Yes.
So I am asking how were the elections young. So they told me, whoever voted for NUP, you take Kyagulanyi, that is counted as an invalid. When they are counting, whoever voted for Kyagulanyi, that is an invalid vote. So they say Kyagulanyi 0-0, but people actually voted for him. Museveni, then people were telling me you could get over 10 ballot papers and you're supposed to tick the bus. But they were telling us even if you don't vote, like we've already voted for you, you get? And these people were saying one reason we support Museveni is because he's from our region. Of course, we can't support another person from another region. Then this brought me to a thought. I think we think we've done quite some good work, but we have a lot of work to do.
There are places we haven't.
People are not learned. So they can't reason, they don't know anything. They don't watch news. There is no electricity. And the home where I was, because it was a very rich person, he has power. At around 7 p.m., electricity goes off. When people are going to watch news, power goes off. Power comes back at around 8 for like 30 minutes. It goes off. It comes back in the night. Goes off in the morning. So people are kept in the dark deliberately. They have no hospitals, they have nothing. But at the same point, they cannot support another person who is not from their region. The person from their region is not helping them. So I think we need to do a lot of work. Now, grassroots work, not starting a year or two to elections, to start as early as possible. I don't know how safe that can be.
So that achieves what?
So that you see,
no.
You see, you've been saying, no, Lawal has been saying.
Do you know that 500, these guys who did the commission thing? The Vampuga.
The what?
The service commission kind of thing. None of those guys went through.
Yeah.
You get what that does? I'm sure if also Anita was running on a clean ballot, no cheating of elections, her chances of winning were going to be very limited.
See, Lawal, you've been here saying NUP has told so many people, so it has stretched. Many people have come to know. We need to teach as many people as possible. Maybe when you're forcing them to do this nasty stuff, they'll be knowing, oh, this is wrong. This is not how we're supposed to proceed.
Or there'll be that one activist in there who will whistle blow, so that you really know this was not a 99%.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was some rigged
so
thing.
That's why I tell people this struggle or whatever we are fighting for might not come in a month or two or in a year. But even if it is going to happen in the next 5 years, we need to work on it. And if we do not do the grassroots mobilization, like she said, we're going to be here next 60 years, still seated in the NRM regime. Museveni might die and then another person takes over and we still do the same things. 8 years are along the road.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and for me, when I ask, the way forward, it's not even to put the burden, because three of us here may not have that solution and answer. But I feel there should be a place of acknowledgement that something different.
I have a friend who talks about something called accelerating the revolution, whereby you participate and make this thing worse.
Yes.
So And
yes.
So he thinks
it's a concept.
He perhaps is wrong, but he thinks like people like Among are perhaps like accelerators.
And I am very happy.
So I want they enter the thing, and then like they spoil it like
they keep
so bad.
You off. They keep
like the Mohozes.
Yeah. So but
we need more of those.
I am torn between two, because because we don't control resources, if we could get like some of those parts into the cash economy, or like push them to come to urban centers, I think that would go a long way in increasing the numbers that matter. Because I think what you're saying is like the people are kept in ignorance.
Yeah, very many.
So part of what the accelerators can do, I'm a politician, I think I'm not allowed to say, but like for example, if someone like can buy those people's land off and forces them to come to it.
It's okay. You see, like there are different there are different ways to like play the politics of this thing. But I think one of the easiest things, even which is not as complicated as that, is ensuring that the people that need to know these things get to know that there is a Mohoze somewhere who is killing people and tweeting about it. Because now there's an assumption that because 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 Ugandans on X know, every other Ugandan knows. But trust me, you will get out of here and say, oh, do you guys know the nude protest? And people will be like,
what is that?
What's that? And yet you walked naked to Parliament and everyone was talking about it.
Even
every little square around you. But you go and people are like, what's that?
But also there are even those that know about it. And then you have to convince them how good it can be.
Exactly.
Because they're condemning it.
We need, and like she said, the safety around it could be questionable, but we need to find ways to drive this conversation outside elections to the smallest structure of our society, to the least reached areas of our society.
Which is quite hard.
And unsafe.
Quite exactly. That is the part of hard that I'm talking about.
Yeah, we have a lot of work to do.
Why do you think that we are dying now?
No, but is okay. Like, it would be so silly of like Noop to come on television and talk about its strategy. I totally agree with that. But I really hope that's what like you guys are doing.
You think we are out there laying strategy?
Out here, and as young people who are willing to like help and push that agenda, I feel like we just need this. Anyway, like you said, there are things we can't say here.
Exactly.
They'll just pick you up and take you.
So you see. That's the level where we are.
Yeah.
You want to say something that you think can contribute to, developing your country or something, but then you can't even say it.
But what do we do? For example, now, that thing you talked about, these opposition leaders, political leaders who win and then
all of a sudden they are...
First, what can we do for these people?
There is nothing you're going to do for them.
No, do to them the Mpuga thing. Like, disassociate. By the way, naming and shaming has helped us a lot. Disassociate. Yeah. Yeah, name and shame.
Sometimes I feel like
I think
some of these leaders don't really matter.
And you young people within the party should be able to do that. Like,
why are you setting up young people?
I know, right?
I feel like Museveni was such a kind of person. Like, you protect these people. And also I feel it sometimes comes from a selfish point of view because you want a certain favor. You hope for a certain favor from that act of loyalty and allegiance. You get? And it may not be for the bad or worst reasons ever, like the people do on the other side of this conversation, but it's a similar thing. You're thinking, I'm going to be running, I will need the party card, I will need this. Am I willing to be the rebel MP in the opposition, like the rebel member in the one who will be like, no, this. And I get it, people are like, sometimes we're already fighting the government, we can't be fighting each other. But I feel there are spaces which are safe where you can call out these people on their actions. I don't know if you get what I mean.
I don't know.
Unless they blow out of proportion.
You see how NUP disorganized, they're fighting each other, can they manage the country?
Exactly. So I'm thinking there are spaces which are safe.
Did you see how they did, including your lecturers at law school, including some serious members of society who were calling out NUP over the Mpuga issue?
Can you imagine?
Saying Noop hates intellectuals. As if intellectualism
has brought us saying
has anything to do with them. How do you take people's money and then you hide behind
intellectualism?
I don't want to name them. I saw some of you.
Ugandans are just double standard people.
We apologize.
Your propaganda lecturers at law school.
No, it's a shame, but the people have spoken for themselves. The constituency he was trying to represent.
By the way, I'm very disappointed in law school. I wanted to join law school, but every day I get disappointed
as someone
by the
who
products
is going to graduate.
School.
Please, I'm telling you.
I have seen a lawyer who is telling us to bend down before 7 and beg for our basic human right for the political prisoners. He's a lawyer, a law teacher, law lecturer. He has joined the NRM to plead for mercy for our political prisoners. I'm like,
guys, I know. Like, I feel like there is the politics of patronage. First, there's everyone trying, like, which spoil can I collect? How can I join the eating team? And it's not even about, it feeds into every aspect. When you keep young people, they are educated, but they are poor. Definitely are going to use their knowledge too.
When I find a young lawyer broke joining the NRM and saying I'm going to eat.
But in Sivambi, his level of wealth and he has taught law for more than 20 years.
What do you mean? That the richest people are the ones who even want to keep their wealth and grow it the most.
So this is the point.
He's looking at how can he protect his wealth.
Yeah.
His wealth.
I've seen a person of a prime minister stealing iron sheets. So
I know.
That's what you started from the point of. So, but I think praise what we need to start from is stop overrating human beings, especially within our society.
Yes.
And maybe to believe in yourself more. Because I think about life and what life should be about. And I see how, like, the MPs you've talked about, the lecturer, for example, was ashamed himself. And like, why do people care so much about the material? Like, why are people so obsessed with money? Like, I know money is important, for example, to make your life better, to make it easy, but really?
Well, you can say it that way, but if that's what the system, like, we're in a capitalistic system. Yeah. And not everyone is reasonable like you. That's why society needs checks and balances. That's why we have the law, because not all men are reasonable. I'm going to want to steal my neighbor's property. I'm going to want to rape this person. I'm going to... You get that? That's why we need to hold accountability.
I would still say Mugunda's words when he said, when he finds a person like Nabanja speaking or doing whatever she's doing, but a graduate of Macquarie, a doctor, there are some levels you don't expect you to cross. And that's the problem. Like, that's an us issue. To think that because someone has attained some level of education, it makes them a good, reasonable person, but that's not the case. And you see, it's one of the things I'm grappling with, and I think it's part of a discussion you should be able to push in terms of what makes one a respectable member of society. Like, for me, growing up, we used to have people like, they are not rich, but like Baba Itachi, the heads of a family, but that man, he doesn't have the most cows or land, but people respect him. He's a man, like, he's an influential person in the area. Like, you want to contest, you want something, go reach out to Mr. So-and-so. You get that. But I think we need to have a conversation about the people that because I don't get it, honestly. And the more I think about people like Nsibambi, for example, I see even the people who, because I don't know how people appreciate Bobby Wine, but I appreciate Bobby Wine from this thing of this guy who is doing what he can within his means to create change. I totally agree. And I see like the people who, because Bobby Wine perhaps could make a mistake in strategy or approach, it should be okay. But you see like people that learn up, looking up to your land, you've been in the politics, you have the money, you have everything. Is the like, you go and protest. Not even like you go and we come and join you. Like you, like, let Bobby Wine go. Like, sacrifice yourself for us. Kat Bobby Wine is there happy with his family. Like you want him to die and be like he's a normal human being. But in this conversation, guys, I feel something important that we shouldn't leave. You have talked about the civic education, not just civic, like going down to the grassroots and stuff like that. But then there is a conversation of where the money is. The money to facilitate whatever we're doing. That kind of work. Because if you're going to do this kind of work, where does the money lie? Where does it be? Because I don't want to set up an institution or organization because I want money to do that kind of thing. I actually think before you discuss money I think you should discuss your safety. Money can make you safe. No praise. No.
Trust me, it can.
No. In this
for
kind of government, you're going to come doing something and they are going to call you.
Give aura for aura.
Praise.
You fly a village out. Okay, let them come for you.
I mean,
Praise,
that kind of money,
praise,
but
praise. We are discussing people that are going to look at the grassroots.
No, I
to
think
teach
I've
people.
come to realize you can't teach everyone. But if we have a good critical mass in every place, it works for us. You get that?
Friends, you should have to be careful about the arguments you just made in the past discussions.
I'm changing. People are going to New Year.
Always Manero changes his mind. Okay.
Like, yeah, if we need, and it's no longer safe to do certain things, especially within the confines of this country. You can't trust anyone. It's
you know that
becoming a
if I come today and I say I'm going to sponsor your activities, I'm going to be termed as sponsoring
something.
But would you?
Terrorism.
So what I'm saying, security is very key.
But I don't know. I mean, all these spaces. I think I must be one of the most optimistic people.
Who sounded pessimistic here?
Like people are all down. What are we going to do?
Like I told you, for me, I'm still in denial. That means I'm still optimistic. I think something could happen.
And I like that kind of.
Yeah, but I also think that you've got to put. Like this thing I would say, opportunity finds a prepared. Like you've got to be ready for any sort of positive thing.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah,
you come up with something and call me.
I'm so hopeful.
Wake me up at 3 and you tell me, Margaret, this is a strategy. Find me here and we start. I am going to be there.
I'm one of the most hopeful Ugandans. This thing is going to end. And not like far away. It's very soon.
By the way,
we need to set the bombs in the right places.
The people here are very religious.
Bombs are ticking.
The people here are very religious people. They talk about Papa. Are you praying for us? Is there any...
It's the two P's, pray and protest.
Have you seen anything in your spiritual world? What are they saying?
No, we lack a lot. I happened to be in Nairobi and I attended some church. It was such a small fellowship. And you go to the fellowship and the person preaching talks about the politics of the country, condemns something wrong that the government did, like maybe that previous week, inculcates it within the sermon. You're sitting in an Uber, but the Uber guy driving you is discussing politics and not the gossip propaganda of nyumba ya sudiro. No, like a certain policy. You got to a stall to buy tomatoes and everything. I know they can tell such things like maybe you're paying, they see this, they see you're 256, and the conversation is immediately political. They are questioning this, the human rights this. I want to be waxed, guys. And here was a lady plucking hair from certain places on my body, and the conversation was still on politics. Guys,
I'm thinking someone is like, how do you manage to grow this way in the kind of dictatorship?
Yes.
The police say, are you crying for the back home?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I happened to watch Citizen TV. And I think their results had just come out. Like, I think there were results that like P7 results that push you to like, actually, they were like senior 4 that push you to senior 6. And kids had failed. Kids that come from like these rural government schools. And guess what? The parents, villagers, I'm talking illiterate parents, I'm talking poor parents, were holding branches and protesting to the schools. Like, why are our children failing? They don't have this, they don't have these facilities. I was like, how does a community be pushed to that point of such political
this is my parting shot.
Yes.
So, whereas there's like the physical activism, which I think has done us a great good up to this level, I also think there's no space for certain, I think things like certain policies that sort of drive the struggle as well. We can find a way. How do we get, for example, many people to enter the cash economy? Because when people start earning money or live in urban areas where they have to work to pay rent, that's when they become cautious and want to. If we stop this, discourage this whole thing of people who go to Saudi Arabia to work and they stay here and we suffer together. Like how do we get people to be cautious? Because why I say that is that sometimes even if we change government, right, you would still need a cautious population to still demand for these rights of theirs.
We could be here saying like, oh, Bobby Wine is a perfect guy. I'm using him because I know he stands for some of the ideals that I stand for. And he gets into power, but we are not we are a population that doesn't know how to hold accountable. We don't know how to politically participate. We don't know. He will come, and they say power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts.
If I say certain things, I don't know what the government's approach will be, but push for higher network connectivity. Let's TikTok reach everyone. Let's like open up people, expose them. And I know some of these things are not within our means, but there are some of things that we have to push for that force people to be exposed to information and become cautious. It's the best way you can defend society.
On the contrary, I have seen many Ugandans saying, as long as I have my car job, as long as I have where I sleep, those things don't concern me. Yeah. So many of them.
Yes, until cases up and breaks down your phone.
Now that's where I was coming to. Yeah. I think as people that are, as women and men of God, we should pray more that the Lord touches us more, because most of the Ghanaians that have joined the struggle have somehow, somewhere been, in a fix. They've been
a moment of
oppressed by this government. So as long as there is that one person who has not faced the wrath of this government, let everyone lose a child in the hospital. Let someone's children sit home and they don't have tuition. Yeah. Let everyone feel the wrath. Maybe
we have the power or means to sort of close those safety valves. Because what I'm trying to hear from this conversation is there are so many safety valves. Like if I can go to the club and
if there is anything you can do to close those things.
Yeah, so
I think Praise, what we are doing here is we have allowed ourselves to reach a certain level where we have to discuss this now. Yeah. What approach do we take? Do we participate in accelerating the pain so that everyone gets into the pot?
Be part of
or
that.
Do we find more innovative ways like the ones we've been pursuing to mobilize the urban? And you get so what you are saying is at least we are having this discussion and we need to have it. What needs to happen? Do we all have to do this, or can
we you see the innovation you're talking about? The innovation you're talking about, I could also innovate how we can close the valve.
True.
Yeah, innovation is such a broad
So whatever we can do, whatever anyone can do in their capacity, if you think it can contribute a thing,
please next time maybe we can talk about, like how also there's a lot of cracks happening within NRM party, how that also can be made worse or something like that. But unless there's any last words, our time is fast spent. I know if we keep talking with
fast spent or fast spent.
I want to take this opportunity to thank my president that much as a lot of things are happening to him, his family, his friends, etc., he has not given up on us. We don't know where he is, wherever he is in hiding. At least he's thinking about Ugandans. You saw that Geneva, he had to create something, at least for his voice to reach out there. Hopefully it can help. And I rally on Ugandans. Whatever you can do in your capacity, instead of criticizing what Bobi Wine said, maybe add a thing that you think he left out and it would be important. Add it, make a tweet about it, post about it. You tag these international bodies if you think they can help. Tag anyone you think can help. If you can go to the grassroots and teach someone a thing or two. I think that whatever we're fighting for can still be achieved. We don't know when, but I am very hopeful.
Yeah, I think for me, just basically, it's that there is a ticking time bomb, but we need to place it in the right places.
That's not quite stretch our imagination. Thank you so much. This has been the first episode of What Ought in 2026. We discussed what ought to happen in this country because we all deserve a better country, a better society, better humanity and development and the success of everyone. Please keep it locked in. I enjoyed Natavi. I hope we are able to host her back. Please comment, retweet, repost, reshare. Let us extend this conversation to everyone. Thank you.